What's up, Wusu Family?
Hey, family.
It is Chris and Danielle, and we're excited that you're here with us. For anyone who is new to the channel, welcome to you as well.
Yes, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for next week's video. We got a fun one coming next week.
It may or may not be in reference to where we are right now. We're actually going to share the video of where we are right now and why we're here today with you guys, but in light of everything that's going on subsequent to the shooting of Jacob Blake, we felt that it was in our heart and our spirit to share our perspective of a white wife and a black husband, what our conversations are like.
Thank you guys just so much for being here for that. We've definitely have had a lot of internal conversations within our marriage, just walking life out together, and we do come from different backgrounds, different perspectives. Our experiences are very different, but those kind of conversations to be able to have candidly with each other is something that we really felt was important to have in front of the camera as well.
In front of you all. Hopefully what you can get out of this is how we feel we can move forward together. And to give you guys some background on who we are, Danielle, you're white, right?
I am. I'm of European descent. Okay. Everything from English, Irish, French, Dutch, you name it.
And my parents, my dad is from Western Africa, from Ghana. Beautiful, beautiful country. If you've ever been, you would know it because it is utterly incredible. My mom is from Western Samoa. Shout out to the Polynesians and shout out to the Africans out there. So babe, I wanted to ask you, how are you feeling as a white woman, as a white wife to a black man? How are you feeling?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, I walk out of the house and I don't have the same experience as you. Like, I don't fear for, like, if a police officer is walking past me, I don't have to operate in that same way. But what I have found as being the spouse of a black man is that I carry fear in my heart of, like, when Chris leaves to go out on a run. We went to a sandwich spot the other day and we parked further away, and I watched him walk down the sidewalk, and I was just like, I think more about it. We've been pulled over before, and I was in the car with him, and I just remember thinking, like, thank God I'm with him. Like, hopefully I can be like a buffer, or what would happen if something did happen? Like, how could I intervene? And like, my mind goes to those places of wanting to protect you. I worry more, I feel, because I have seen it. I've seen how people treat you differently in front of my own eyes, and how the experience is different versus like when I'm there and not there. I've gotten those phone calls from you. I'm carrying our sweet baby too, and I think about our baby and the experience as, an interracial child, and how they'll be treated differently. To be able to hopefully have some of my blind spots eliminated, because at the end of the day we all have them, and that's okay to have blind spots, but it's what makes it powerful and impactful is when we really focus and are intentional about identifying those blind spots, so they are no longer blind spots. As a mother to an interracial child, as the wife to a black man, that I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it if I have an opportunity to step up and use my voice. Knocking out pride is that arrogance of like, oh, I'm married to a black man. Like, of course I don't have these prejudices, or of course I don't look at it like this, or like, I have blind spots. I'm not gonna see everything the way that you see it, but I can try to understand, and I think that comes through being intentional with the questions that you ask, and intentional with those conversations, and being okay too with feedback.
She said, I think more about what you go through. As a black person, that's what we can ask for, is for you, if you're not a person of color, to think about what it's like, or what it could be like to be black in America. And I think that is so powerful, because to really think about removing yourself from the center of your universe and putting other people in the center. I could tell you a story. When I first met Danielle, I came in with massive flaws. That's the one thing you and I have in common, is that we have massive flaws.
We all have flaws.
We are broken.
Yeah.
And that is okay. Because there is a God who still loves us, and he is grace-filled, and grace is an amazing thing. There was expectations. I went to Stanford, I played in NFL. I have seemingly accomplished quite a bit in a short period of time. I brought in a ton of expectations, and what it led to was me expecting things of Danielle, and me being constantly disappointed, constantly quick to anger, impatient. It led to a very toxic relationship for both of us. When we got to a point where we just chose to surrender and say, I need, me, Chris Owusu, or Danielle in her instance, I need to change and I want to change. If I didn't grow and change, I would still be wearing a diaper or whatever. If I didn't grow and change, I would still be extremely quick to anger. Not to say that I don't mess up, but I would still be extremely quick to anger. I would still be very impatient. I would choose those things still because that's what a person who doesn't change, that's what they do, is they say, I don't need to change. I don't need to grow. And so my flaws are just a part of who I am.
Yeah.
And that's what we can't afford to do as humans. No. Those things are really powerful because you get reps at it. It's like me in the football game or me in practice. I get reps at catching the ball.
Yep.
And you're gonna get reps in life that allow you to confront your flaw or your brokenness. And in this topic of being a black man, a black husband, and a white wife, and a white woman, what are some blind spots? What are some flaws in the way that you see people? Just being other-centric, being other-oriented, saying, how can I remove myself from the center and say, I'm gonna choose to love this person, and it might be hard.
Yeah.
You might be terrible at it in the beginning, and you seemingly might not like black people, but that's something that you can grow in. That's something that you can change.
Yeah.
And we need to change in America.
Yeah.
We need to change and grow into loving people, into loving others, and saying that just because you do not comply doesn't means that you should be executed. And just because you don't comply, that shouldn't mean that you are executed. And I think there's so much grace out there that we can have for other people, that we can have for each other. And we don't have to choose hate.
On that compliance piece, and I think that that's something that people really lean on, is that like, oh, if the person was just compliant, if that black man was just compliant. Our God doesn't condemn us every single time we're not compliant, like whether that's my posture or a thought that goes through my head, but God doesn't execute me on the spot just because I wasn't compliant. You can be really honest with yourself and ask yourself, like, am I compliant 100% of the time? Especially if you feel threatened, especially if you're feeling fearful. Can you really say that you were compliant 100% of the time? And if you weren't, would you want that to be a death sentence? Or if you have a child, would you want them, if they weren't compliant 100% of the time, would you want that to be an execution and a death sentence for them?
We can choose love. We can choose the action, because love's an action, right, babe?
It's totally an action.
Right? I had to choose within our relationship to choose the alternative of patience, of being slow to anger, so that I can love my beautiful wife. She's beautiful, huh? She's beautiful. So I can love her more. We are called, you and me, to grow internally. I am called to grow internally. I'm called to look at my brokenness and say, I can grow in that. And there's grace there for you while you do it. You're not alone while you do it. And you're not gonna be perfect while you do it. No. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't start. This world is ready for it. And for our collective efforts, this world is ready for it. If racism or looking at someone and the color of their skin gets you riled up, if that brings something to the surface, go with it. You can change that part of yourself. You can grow into being someone who loves people more. Racism is real. Racism occurs, and it's something that we can grow in together. So we love you. We are expecting a little gender reveals out there, so you go ahead and check that out. Shameless plug. But we love you guys so much. Thanks for taking the time with us.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having this
comment below
with us.
If this helped, if this was something that you needed to hear. Go ahead and share it with anyone that you think might want to hear this.
Yeah.
And we'll catch y'all later.
See you next week.
See you, Wusu family.